And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We have two major health updates to share tonight, including the CDC's latest on COVID-19 booster shots. But first, a recipe for disaster. A man dies after eating oysters. Dr. Danish Ali from Archpoint Pain Institute explains what went wrong. Dr. Ali, this story had me concerned because I eat oysters, and to have someone die from it, but we knew there was something else more to this story. So obviously this man was eating at a restaurant in Galveston. They have not disclosed the location or his name, but what do we know that may have caused this problem, this death, after eating I can never get that right, raw oysters?
That's correct, Isaiah. So he had what we call a bacteria, Vibrio vulnificus, that we see in the warm waters, specifically Gulf of Mexico. And this gentleman ended up consuming raw oysters from this restaurant and shortly after got sick. This is a rare bacterial infection, Isaiah. We see about 200 cases of this annually, and about 1 in 5 folks actually die from this. Wow. But the folks that actually die are the ones that are immunocompromised, meaning they have a weak immune system, or specifically they have liver disease. This gentleman was young. I don't know if he consumed alcohol or had some sort of hepatitis, perhaps, that made his liver have liver dysfunction and therefore put him at a higher risk for fatality and dying after having this bacteria by consuming this raw oyster.
And the very hot summer we've had, that doesn't make it any better, right?
That's correct, Isaiah. This bacteria lives in warm waters, and so it's in the Gulf of Mexico specifically. And that's why the CDC and others are urging folks that may have open wounds or open sores to be cautious going into the water, specifically the Gulf of Mexico. And then also, if you have liver disease or you're immunocompromised, be careful by being in the waters and also consuming raw oysters or shellfish.
Should we just, I mean, with so much heat going on, obviously the temperature's starting to cool off now as we get deeper into September. Should we just kind of hold off on raw oysters and shellfish out there?
I think, Isaiah, those folks that are either immunocompromised, meaning they're on immunosuppressant medications, or they have liver disease, they need to be very careful. But, you know, should the general public stop consuming oysters, or specifically raw oysters? I don't think so, Isaiah. I think if you have these comorbidities that make you at a higher risk to have something that may be otherwise treatable, that's where you want to possibly consider avoiding that, specifically in these warm temperatures and warm times right now. And specifically, the other thing is, Isaiah, if you're going to consume oysters, maybe specifically right now, consume the oysters from up north or somewhere else. Don't get them from the Gulf if you're so worried.
Smart move. So let's talk about COVID-19. What's the latest on that, Dr. Ali?
Yeah, Isaiah, just recently the CDC has released vaccine boosters for COVID. We have seen a new variation of it, the XBB 1.5. This is about 95% of all the COVID cases that we're seeing right now, Isaiah. And now this new vaccine that's out actually helps with that as well, and helps to prevent that, helps to prevent the spread of that, and also the complications specifically. So that's why they've issued this booster, and that's why they're recommending folks who are over the age of 6 months to get this vaccine.
Now, how do we motivate people to get it? I think a recent survey indicated only 17% of people took the latest booster, and it was widely available, either through, you know, the government or your insurance company, and people just aren't taking it anymore. Is it because it's no longer, it's on the back burner now in our minds here in America?
It is, Isaiah, and that's kind of the frustrating thing that we're seeing right now. Folks aren't thinking about it, aren't talking about it. If they get sick, they're thinking that's the flu. There's some of them are still showing up to work. Some of them aren't getting tested to see, or they're doing the home test and maybe taking a few days off. So yes, I am seeing that, Isaiah, and I wish that we were a little bit more diligent, because with the colder temperatures coming, with the holidays coming, and school starting up again, I do see that these cases will increase. Thankfully, they haven't resulted in high numbers of hospitalizations and even deaths that we were seeing before. However, if we can do something to prevent it and prevent it from being spread, i.e. The booster, I think it's worth exploring.
All right, Dr. Danish Ali, Arch Point Pain Institute, thank you for joining us, sir.